What up, Depth Chart? It's your boy, young broadcaster Jared Young, here on the set of the 2 Point Perspective with my co-host, Miles on the mic, Miles Sweeney. And today's episode is brought to you by Load Management, because why play basketball when you could sit in the street clothes for 28 minutes or 28 games?
Sorry. I could think of a lot of players that are sponsored by this same company.
How you doing today, Miles? How you been, man?
I'm doing good. It's been a long day. I had to help move. My sister just bought a house, so we were moving all of her stuff to the new house. And I'm a little sore. I'm a little tired. Went to class.
A little sore boy?
Yeah, a little sore boy.
A little sore boy?
Yeah. Not as much as I'm a soy boy.
But are you a soy boy?
Well, yeah, you saw me. I was inconsolable when you were opening up your laptop.
Yeah, we were having some technical difficulties. I did break into my laptop because for whatever reason it was not turning on, and we run basically our entire system through it. And so that would have been bad. Yeah, all of our audio, video, 100% of everything runs through my laptop. So that was not good.
What would we have done? Would we have gone on Discord and just screen recorded like our video call?
Nah, no way, dude. I would have called John and been like, dude, get you and your laptop over here right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the John father is not currently on set, but he will be very soon.
Very soon.
We were just about to talk about this, and then I decided, well, why don't I just start the pod and we'll actually talk about this.
Yeah.
But we're going to be changing our set here really soon. If you guys, by the way, you guys on the TikTok live, thank you so much for tuning in, but also check out the YouTube live, because you guys will get way more of our sound bites. You'll get more of our audio from here. If
overall,
we make any calls or do anything
better
like
quality.
That. Yeah, for sure. Even the video is much better quality. So, but yeah, we're going to be changing our set here in a few weeks. We have a deadline coming up this Friday that will be hitting.
Yep.
For just a couple different milestones that we need to hit before we can do that. But we're hoping to sit a little bit lower, have a little coffee table in the middle, make this a little bit more open, get a lot of this junk out of the way. We do a lot of the producing from our side.
Yeah.
Right now, and if we're able to change our setup a little bit, get John in the studio, the John father, then we'll be able to have our own producer behind the camera. We'll be able to do a lot more cool things. Hopefully have some polls for the lives and really increase the quality of that. So,
and we're gonna have room to dance.
Yeah, room to dance.
That's the thing we think about, because
yeah, man. I mean, I gotta get up and throw this dump truck in a circle. Somebody's
3 weeks in a row. You've made this promise to me, and I really hope you don't let me down here, because you're gonna have the room to do it. You're gonna buy the tearaway sweatpants. Like
Miles, are you going to join me though? Are you gonna join me in getting down, or is this gonna be a solo thing? Because I don't know if I can.
There's a public safety aspect of when I'm doing this. If I knock over the camera,
we are in the upstairs. That's true. Yeah. We are upstairs, and it's
but you've had your fair share of
It's a risk I'm willing to take, though, Miles.
But you got to get revenge. You got to get revenge on some of your neighbors here. They're pretty loud.
I hope they're not watching this. Yeah. But I am excited for the more open setup. I think it's going to be a lot better. I think our lighting will be a lot better, and just the whole thing in general. It's going to be a little bit of an investment for us, but at the end of the day, if it's going to boost the quality of what we're putting out there, I think that it's worth it. So
100%.
Yeah. But let's jump right in. We're going to switch things up just a little bit today. We're not going to start off with our roster shakeup. We're actually going to kick it off with our dual threat bet. So I have won the dual threat bet 3 weeks in a row. We're starting off dual threat bet season 2 on a happy note, right, Miles?
Right.
Miles is happy for me.
Well, I'm saving my happiness for later when I come back, and you're just going to be so miserable that you're having to do the beer mile, which we're going to talk about. But then you're gonna stack those hats, and you're going to be running again.
I am not. No way, dude. I can't lose 2 in a row. There's no way. And I'm up 3-0 right now. You think I'm gonna lose out to that? I mean, I guess there's a long time, right? We got until June. We got until June. Yeah, that's fair. But dual threat bet. I'm 3-0. Last week I had Derek Queen plus 8.5 rebounds, and he got 9. I was looking. I'm watching the game, and I'm looking at the stats, and I'm watching, and I texted Miles immediately, and I was like, Queen got 9.
And what did I say?
Some it was some profanity. Yeah, it was some profanity. You were not happy. We were also at the same time watching UNR.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah,
that was
UNR
bad.
lose to UNLV, so we were also not happy about that.
Well, last week, because I talked about I cannot watch UNR basketball outside of March Madness if they make it because I get so upset. And I saw UNLV.
You jinxed it. You jinxed it, Miles.
I saw,
because
UNLV, the rivalry, and then they're going to overtime, and I'm like, this is kind of a big game. If they need to win this. So I watched it.
And not only did they lose that one, but then they go on to lose to Wyoming the week after. So, or like a few days later. And they got Air Force coming up, but I'm not hopeful right now. Like they have to win the Mountain West tournament.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I do not see it happening. And
I think
and
that
like,
took
for
the
UNLV,
wind out of their sails.
I think so too. And I think that they overlooked UNLV, especially, going into that game. They were on a 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
Which was huge, and you just can't overlook teams late in the season like that. It doesn't matter what their record is, and I just don't think that they were prepared for that game.
No.
So it was a great game. It was a fun game to watch, but and it was close. It was close, but at the end of the day,
I texted you and I said this is why I don't watch.
Right.
Like that was the first game all year that I actually watched.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, Miles. That was the first game that I watched them lose all season. So I blame you. I blame you for the loss.
That's double jinx.
Yeah. But this week's dual threat bet, our Saturday night game, is Golden State at OKC. Dang, man. I think OKC is they're gonna steamroll.
Oh, they're gonna wax them.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's gonna be a fun game.
I don't know if Kristaps will play, and if he does, he's gonna come back that game. Yeah,
he's been fighting illness again, right?
Yeah.
This is I'm so curious to what this illness is because it's
been happening since Boston,
right? And they haven't talked about it publicly, so I'm really curious what it is. But they just keep saying that he's fighting illness, and so that's what's keeping him off the court. So Miles, are you ready for the coin flip?
Yes.
All right,
Call it in the air per usual. I'm gonna go tails.
It is heads. I am pulling for the third week in a row.
Oh my god!
The third week in a row, Miles.
And you say you have bad luck pulling, and you've had the ultimate luck pulling.
Sucks to suck, Miles. This
might jinx you. This sweatshirt for the audio only listeners. He's wearing a Lucky Me gambling shirt.
This is first of all, Miles. This is the top tier band AJR, and if you haven't heard AJR, I highly suggest you go listen to some AJR. This is one of my favorite bands. So I will not hear any disrespect from you, Miles.
No, the disrespect will come from losing this dual threat bet.
Ooh, okay. This is one that I feel pretty good about, actually.
Did you get SGA 31.5?
I didn't get SGA 31.5. But I did get SGA plus 6.5 assists.
That's what he's averaging.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to hope for, that he gets pulled in the fourth quarter, like the beginning, because it's such a blowout.
Well, hopefully by that point he has 6.5 assists.
No, he won't. He won't.
You don't think so?
Oh, I think he will.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. 6.5 isn't that much.
It's not.
6.5 isn't that much, and he's pretty prolific. So sorry, my mic is like doing a thing here right now. It's flaccid.
Yeah.
We'll have to deal with that later.
Yeah. Well, you're the technician now after that laptop.
That's true. That's true. So. I did fix the laptop, so I'm basically certified.
That's a piece of cake.
Yeah. If you guys have any tech that needs to be fixed out there, send it my way for a hefty fee.
And
don't worry about the price. Trust me, I'm a professional.
If you have a flaccid mic, Jared can make it erect, right?
I am a professional.
Before we move on, the dual threat bet, we need to cap off that we chose a date.
Oh, I hadn't forgotten.
Punishment.
I hadn't forgotten about it yet.
Yeah.
So April 12th, I'll be finally incurring my punishment for season 1, dual threat bet season 1. It is the beer mile, location TBD. However, we will be live streaming this event.
We will be.
I'm not looking forward to it. If you have a weak stomach, maybe don't watch, because I do have a weak stomach, and also I'm not a drinker. So And also, I'm not that in shape, so I'm pretty nervous.
This can give you
about
ample
it.
time, though. The weather's been nicer. You start going for a little jog.
Yeah.
Maybe you know what you should do? You should get one of those backpacks
I've
with
been
the straws.
sick. I've been sick like all week, and so it kind of sucks because the weather was really nice, and this would have been a great week to start my training. But yeah, my respiratory system said otherwise.
Well, you'll get there. You're young. You'll heal.
Miles,
and you're gonna.
I can't
you're
wait.
Gonna crush this. I know you're gonna crush this.
I can't wait to wipe that smile off your face when I win Dual Threat Bet Season 2. I cannot wait. If I go up 4-0 on you next week, I don't know. I think that it's set
I don't know either.
I think it's set in stone.
It might be.
Yeah.
But some of these players are not set in stone. Some of them are. It's the new roster shakeup. I said new roster shakeup like it's any different. We're just doing it second instead of first. But we got 4 each this week. NFL, the new league year is approaching. And so now we're seeing teams, releasing players for cap casualties, stuff like that. Now they're trading. We saw one today, a couple in the last couple of days. So
yeah, pretty big one.
Yep.
And I think that we'll continue to see moves like that over the next few weeks. I'm hoping that my boys over in SF make a move for Mr. Max Crosby. That'd be pretty dope. But Miles, why don't you kick us off? Who you got?
Okay. First off, one of the trades that happened yesterday, we got Trent McDuffie going to the Rams. He is going for a package for a 2026 first round pick. That's 29 this year. A 5th round pick this year, a 6th round pick this year, and a 2027 3rd round pick. So he's the best. I mean, you could debate between him and Chris Jones, but he is a staple in that defensive back room for Kansas City, and they just couldn't afford to pay him anymore.
Here's the thing, though. They made out like bandits to get him. I mean, that's a really decent package of picks.
And the Rams are not unfamiliar with trading their first rounders for established players. They did this with Jalen Ramsey.
It certainly hasn't hurt them, it seems, right? Like they've been really tough and really consistent really over the last 10 years. So,
and this was one of their weaker groups on their defense, was their defensive backs.
Right.
So now they're adding that bona fide CB1 who is already an established player in this league, and he's going to get an extension. He might have already gotten his extension. I haven't seen it, but the Rams, they know how to operate as a football operation.
Yeah, and that defense is going to be dirty.
It is. Yeah. Next up, we got Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones. Despite him tearing his Achilles, he still gets the transition tag by the Colts. You hardly ever see this. And so it allows for other teams to still sign Jones, but it gives the Colts the opportunity to match it. So if he does not sign a competing offer sheet, he would earn a 1-year guaranteed salary of $37.8 million. So they wanted to keep their guy.
Yeah, and I think that's a big deal, right? Like he carried them through a lot of the season. I think that they had a great offense and he fit in well there.
Yeah.
They obviously are seeing him as a long-term solution, right? And which I think is great. He's a young guy that has a lot of potential and he showed a lot of flashes this season. I get some Kirk Cousin-esque vibes there, right? Where, we'll see what happens after injury. But also at the same time, Anthony Richardson didn't work out.
No.
That's not going anywhere.
And they could be shopping him, but that experiment is over in Indianapolis.
Right. And they need to secure their future. So if they're not going to draft anybody, then Danny Dimes is going to be that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. The Bills, do they have their new wide receiver 1? They just traded a 2nd round pick for DJ Moore, and they're getting a 5th round pick in return. DJ Moore didn't have the most electric season this past year. He's in a crowded pass catching room with Rome Odunze, and Colston Loveland kind of came into his own. But it's hard to forget how prolific of a receiver he can be. He doesn't miss time. He was famously included with that trade from Carolina for the first overall pick for Bryce Young. He had a good year with Justin Fields of all quarterbacks before he got departed.
Right.
And he's not old. Like
right.
he is still in the midst of his prime, and he's going to be filling a role for Buffalo that hasn't been really rock solid since Stephon Diggs.
And I love this move for Buffalo. They needed a big wide receiver. They needed somebody that could actually catch the ball. I mean, how many times did Josh Allen put it in his receiver's hands this season just for them to drop it in key moments? So I think that this is a huge move for them. If it wasn't going to be DJ Moore, it was going to be someone else. They were going to make a move for a wide receiver no matter what, whether that was in trade or in free agency. So,
and I think that they have good complementary pieces. Like I really like Shakir. Keon Coleman, that he's clearly not well received there, but he was a first-round prospect in a draft that was so touted on its wide receivers in 2024. So, Josh Allen, how much is he going to elevate DJ Moore? I'm going to say a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
Vice versa.
I think so too, especially coming off of, again, like you were saying, coming from two really young quarterbacks with not a lot of experience and frankly, guys that have been shaky on and off, right?
Speaking of shaky quarterbacks, this is my final one for the roster shakeup, and
you've been so excited about this.
I knew it was inevitable. I think it's the right decision, but it still hurts my little heart, my little sore boy heart.
Why does it hurt you, Miles?
Because I wanted it so badly to work out with Kyler Murray. He was drafted first overall in 2019, and I'm going to get into the weeds of this. I do have a lot to say. I'm not going to do it now. But, just after this year, he got hurt in week 5, and the writing was on the wall. Front office was like, Jacoby comes in, makes the offense more productive, and they're like, all right, we're just going to IR him. He's not coming back. And they tried shopping him at the trade deadline last year, and nobody was going to budge this year. So they're cutting him, and he's going to be getting $36.8 million in guarantees for this year.
Wild. Well, on my list, I got Stephon Diggs cut by the Patriots. We all knew that was going to happen, right? He's got some off the field issues that are going on right now. That's obviously a big issue. Nobody wants to deal with that. At the same time, he could be productive in some games, and then other games, he just fall off completely. And that's just not a reliable guy. He's also getting up there in years. I'm curious to see where, if anywhere, that he lands. Again, especially with his off the field issues that he's dealing with right now.
Yeah.
Next on my list, I got David Montgomery traded to the Texans. Big surprise there. The two-headed monster in Detroit is done. It is going to be the Jahmyr Gibbs show going forward. Hopefully he can stay healthy over there. But David Montgomery traded to the Texans for a 2026 fourth, a 2027 seventh, and an offensive lineman, Juice Scruggs. So filling some needs there.
I like that trade.
Yeah, me too.
Because
I like it for Houston and for the Lions, really. Yeah. I think that it hurts their depth a little bit, right? The run game has been something that's really important to them, establishing that early. However, where were the Lions this season? Where were the Lions this season? We thought that the NFC North was going to be stacked, that it was going to be crazy good, and it just wasn't. So obviously something needed to change there. They're looking to add some draft capital on top of some depth on their offensive line. So, and then next on my list, I got George Pickens. We weren't sure where he was going to go, if anywhere, and the Cowboys tagged him. He had a killer season this last year, really, honestly, overshadowing CeeDee Lamb almost around every corner, especially when CeeDee got injured early. We really saw that chemistry build with him and Dak. So, the Cowboys obviously want to keep him around. If they don't, we'll talk about some potential spots, but, there's a lot of teams out there that need wide receivers right now. So, and then finally on my list, the Jets tag Breece Hall. We weren't sure what was going to happen with this one either, Brees Hall, I can't say that he's probably been happy in New York, right?
No. I'm sure he's upset.
Yeah,
right now,
losing like every single game, getting killed behind a terrible offensive line season after season, and frankly, just terrible play calling left and right. So, you know, I feel bad for the guy, but I understand why the Jets tagged him, right? He's not an expensive option, and if they're kind of just suppressing him with terrible other players that are not giving him an opportunity to shine the way that he probably could, right? In a really well run system. So
yeah, Brees Hall, man, I feel for him. I was excited. I thought he was going to go to Kansas City. I thought Arizona was going to make a play for him. But franchise tagging a running back these days, it's not going to be the most expensive thing.
No, and it's kind of risky though to do that too, right? The running back's longevity is just not there like it used to be.
No,
we don't see that same. We don't see that same lifespan for a running back. But you know what? Hopefully, we're going to see some lifespan for these free agents as we move on to our next segment. It's a free agent guestination. I apologize. I lost myself there for a second. I had something like built up in my head, and then I was like, "It's gone. It's completely gone." It's the cold medicine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I've been sick, guys. I'm sorry about that. But we have 5 free agents each for you guys, and we want to talk about some big names and where they might land. These are league-shattering free agents. If they end up going to other teams, this will change the whole dynamic. These names could change the whole dynamic of the league. And I'm really excited to see where these guys end up. So first on my list, I've got Alec Pierce. He had a really good season with the Colts after he came back from injury, right? That's probably one of the reasons why they're letting him walk on top of what the price tag will be. But his injury history is something that he's struggled with a little bit. But even still, he had 1,000 yards this season, 1,003, 6 TDs, some potential landing spots for the 25-year-old. I'm looking at Raiders, Commanders. I had the Bills on here, but obviously the Bills just got their guy.
Right.
So Raiders, Commanders could be good. I would love to see him over in San Francisco. They're going to be looking for a wide receiver over there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he necessarily fits into Kyle Shanahan's system, but again, the Raiders, Commanders, those are teams that are going to be looking for wide receivers, especially Commanders with Deebo Samuel's departure.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Next on my list, we got wide receiver Mike Evans, the 32-year-old receiver from Tampa Bay. Now, Mike Evans could still re-sign with Tampa Bay if he doesn't want to leave. It's going to depend on what kind of deal he's going to get. But the market is hot right now, and Tampa's kind of deep at wide receiver. They don't really need him, right? If Chris Godwin stays healthy, if Egbuka stays healthy, they don't really need that guy there anymore. And he's a big target that could get a lot of money, honestly, even on a 1-year deal somewhere else. So some potential trade targets for Mike Evans. Actually, some stats for Mike Evans real quick. He's Tampa Bay's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. Wow, I did not know until yesterday. That's pretty impressive.
He's a good player.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that they're also probably not in a big rush to re-sign him, his first season under 1,000 yards in 12 seasons, right? Only 368 yards this season and 3 TDs. That's a huge drop from where he has been, like we said, over the past 12 seasons. And he's getting up there in age, right? 32. Some potential landing spots for Mike Evans. I'm looking at 49ers, right? There's been a lot of talk about that. The Patriots are also looking for a big downfield threat. And again, I had the Bills on here. Bills got their guys. So
yeah.
Miles, do you want to take a couple?
Yeah.
You want me to just keep rolling?
You did too? Or
yeah.
Did you? Okay. Yeah. We'll alternate here. Travis Kelce, one of the more famous NFL players outside of the actual sport. I think he's going to, and I think he should retire. It just doesn't make sense, and I wouldn't see him getting signed by. I mean, he could be, but I could see him wanting to finish his career in Kansas City.
I think he's going to return for one more season.
And it wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, his downfall in productivity is apparent.
Right.
We've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
He's already getting up there in age.
Yep.
And they're not going to be. I sure hope they're not going to be contending this next season.
Do you think they go after a tight end in the draft?
They could. Yeah, they could. And there are other tight ends on the market that they could go after too.
Kyle Pitts is a big name.
Yeah,
that's out there right
I know
now.
he just got tagged. I think Kate Otten is a free agent this year. And it's kind of a good segue here into David Njoku, who I have on my list as well. He's been productive in Cleveland despite their quarterback
for a long time. Yeah. And he's continued to stay productive, regardless of that. It would be awesome to see him in a good organization, great system.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that if the Eagles decide to cut ties with Dallas Goedert and not give him an extension, I think David Njoku could go to Philadelphia because I would assume he would want a nice change of pace in terms of winning, but also just organizational structure. Philadelphia is way more buttoned up than Cleveland may ever be. And I just don't see him wanting to stay. And I could see him going into a system where, Jalen Hurts prioritizes his tight ends.
Right.
And, you could say it's to a fault when he's got probably one of, if not the best wide receiving room, but he's going to continue his productivity in Philadelphia where he's going to have a better chance to win.
What do you think about the possibility of the Ravens? Right, he'd stay in the same conference. I know, some players are against that. Some players really like that. Right, it's familiar for them. Go with the Ravens. Isaiah Likely is going to be on the out there. Right, he's a free agent this season. So,
it wouldn't. I think that's another good destination too. If Mark Andrews, he's up there in age, and Isaiah Likely he could probably get a better bag elsewhere. And it's kind of the same thing I said with Philadelphia. They've been a buttoned up organization. They have a history of winning, despite them letting go of Harbaugh this past offseason. So, I think there are a lot of options for a guy like Njoku right now, and same for Dallas Goedert if he's getting released. So
maybe the Giants, maybe the Giants, right? Harbaugh's he's a big tight end guy, so that maybe that's a possibility over there as well. Next on my list, I've got Travis Etienne, 27-year-old running back from Jacksonville. Now, he could easily stay with Jacksonville, right? There's nothing pushing him out. He had a great season this last season, over 1,100 yards, 7 TDs. The only thing is, if Jacksonville moves on from him, they have a really cheap option in Tutton. Right. They got a young guy in Tutton who ran well this last season. He didn't put up the ETN numbers, but this next season could be a breakout for him. And the number one guy, it at this point, it doesn't necessarily seem like if you're a running back in the NFL, you're kind of expendable, right? They're building their systems not like around these running backs. They're building them to complement any runner that's in that system, right?
Right.
And they're calling plays that complement that runner's style. So I think that at this point, I really feel like a lot of these running backs can succeed in almost any of these systems. And so for Travis Etienne, I don't know. I don't really think he's going to stay with the Jaguars. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Chiefs or the Vikings. Both the Chiefs running backs are going to hit free agency this season, right? I don't think either of them are going to stay there. Something that KC has really struggled to do over the last 2 seasons is establish the run game. That was one of their biggest issues this last season. And if you can't establish the run, teams are just going to drop back on you every single time. And we saw that all season long for Patrick Mahomes.
Right. Yeah.
And then for the Vikings, they're looking to either trade or release Aaron Jones in the next couple days. Does that mean that Jordan Mason takes over that number 1 spot? Maybe. But at the same time, Jordan Mason has had his own injury woes.
Right.
And if you can't trust that guy to be consistent, then maybe bringing in a guy like Travis Etienne is the answer.
Minnesota seems like a running back by committee organization.
Right. Yeah.
They have been for the last handful of years. It seems like what Kevin O'Connell likes. So yeah, I think that they would. They're gonna retain Jordan Mason, I would assume, but he's not. I don't see him being the bell cow.
Right.
For that.
Well, and they're like not paying Jordan Mason anything right now, so it wouldn't
Yeah.
make sense for them to get rid of him if he's
And he's
healthy and he's going to
serviceable.
play. Yeah,
And he's young.
yeah, absolutely. When he plays great, right? He's a great back, and he can handle a strong workload, but you know, these guys just get beat up so hard down in the trenches, and like we were talking about, the longevity of running backs is just not really a thing anymore. So, who you got next on your list, Miles?
Next up, I got Tyler Linderbaum, the center from Baltimore. He has been one of the best interior offensive linemen up to this point. And I know Baltimore would like to work out an extension, but I'm gonna say I don't foresee him staying. Because I think he could get a bag somewhere, and I think that place is going to be Tennessee, because Tennessee just released their center Lloyd Cushenberry. And he had gotten an extension too, but it seemed like he was kind of up in the air to be a cap casualty anyway, and they went through with it. And they got their guy in Cam Ward. They're going to want to protect him better, and Tyler is a better run blocker than pass blocker from what I've seen, but he's still a very quality piece to your interior offensive line for a staff who wants to turn this around in Tennessee.
Man, I'm so excited to see what Saleh and Dable do over there this season. I think that's going to be so fun.
It's going to be interesting.
I think Cam Ward is going to explode this season, and I'm really, really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, so I think it is a good fit for Tennessee and Linderbaum to bang out a deal, because they need him and they have the cap space to pay him what would garner. You don't see guys like this hit the market too often, and you see it a lot less with tackles, but a guy like Linderbaum's quality on your interior offensive line, that's important.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got to protect your quarterback, man.
Yeah,
got to protect that guy. Got to be able to you got to be able to establish the run, and you can't do that without your interior lineman.
Right.
So all right, next on my list, Joey Bosa. He's hitting the free agency from the Bills. 30-year-old defensive end. This last season, he had 54 quarterback pressures, some potential landing spots. Again, this has been talked about a lot over the last couple of years. Maybe he wants to go play with his brother over in San Francisco. I don't know if they necessarily have the cap to afford him. Maybe a one-year deal. We'll have to see what happens with that. A couple other spots, the Ravens, the Eagles. I think that those are edge needy teams. So
yeah, absolutely.
The Eagles have kind of started to rebuild their defense a little bit, and I know that that's something that they're going to be looking to do this next season. So,
well, I mean, their defensive line had a bit of a falling off from its dominance that won them the Super Bowl, and
they couldn't rush the quarterback, right?
No, and I know that obviously Josh Sweat departed, and their defensive tackle, who I'm spacing, who went to the Patriots this year, I believe it was Milton Williams. They've had loss to that defensive line, so getting a veteran like that who's probably not going to garner a lot of money, it could be the jump start to. I don't see him getting, like, he just came off a 1 year deal in Buffalo where he wasn't.
He's not getting a 5-year deal.
No.
Right?
No.
It's not happening. And he's not getting some crazy bag. He's not going to, blow up the market on, for edge rushers or anything like that. But he's a high quality edge rusher. And I think that he is worth jumping for, honestly. If he landed in San Francisco, I'd be happy.
Don't you think San Francisco would go after you think that they would go after a guy like Trey Hendrickson over Joey Bosa?
You know what I think? Okay, let me tell you what I want. because I don't know what San Francisco's going to do. Because every year I'm like, oh man, we're hearing all these rumors about this and this, and maybe they'll do this. Now San Francisco's not afraid to make a big trade, right? They're not afraid to do that. Look at what happened with Christian McCaffrey, right? That was huge. They're not afraid to make big moves. They like to do it in free agency, but I would love to see them trade for Max Crosby. That would be just I can't even tell you what that does for the NFC West, and I'm sorry for your Cardinals if that happens, Miles.
Oh yeah, it would be horrible to watch on Sundays, but
can you imagine Max Crosby lining up across from Nick Bosa?
Yeah, it'd be horrifying.
That would be generational.
But what's scarier? Those two on your defensive line or those two on your books? Because those are two steep contracts, right? And you're going to be trading. The Raiders don't want to trade Max Crosby. Are they going to? Who knows? But the price needs to be right. It's going to be at least 2 first-round picks and probably a player in return. So if you're doing that and you're sending them, who was the guy you guys just drafted? I'm blanking.
Mykel Williams.
Mykel Williams. Are you willing to send him along with? Because I don't want to say it's a crowded room, but
can I be honest? I think that there would be more likely almost, and this is hot. This is a hot topic, and maybe the Raiders don't want to take on this contract, which I understand too, right? But I think I could see sending Nick Bosa for Crosby.
And I just don't think Vegas would do that. Outside of Max being disgruntled and wanting to leave, why would they trade away, in my opinion, the better pass rusher?
I agree.
To get one in return that isn't as good, who is still going to be expensive and is coming off a torn ACL.
I don't think it's going to happen. But I'm living in my nice little dream world until this season starts.
It's nice to live there sometimes,
Yeah,
I'm there too much.
Stay there. Yeah. Well, are you there with Tua? Because that's where I think he's going.
I'm there with Malik Willis. And I wouldn't say this as a dream, but I think he's going to sign with Arizona.
Do you?
He is my 4th destination. And, you've seen him thrown in with the Browns and the Jets and the Dolphins. Like, of course, they're going to have levels of interest. The Browns have too many quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Why would Malik Willis go to the Jets? And the Dolphins can't pay him what he's going to want. And I understand the connection between him and Jeff Hafley. Like, he just came from Green Bay.
I think Quinn Ewers takes over. Sorry to tangent. Do you think Quinn Ewers takes over in Miami?
I think they like him.
Yeah.
I think that they would be okay with him taking the reins for this year. Okay. And if they need to draft somebody else, next year is going to be the time to do it.
Okay.
In that rich draft.
Sorry, side tangent. Malik Willis.
I think the most logical destination is going to be Arizona.
I don't disagree with you. I don't hate it. But picture this. Daniel Jones is going to be out probably for a little while, right? He's not starting the season in Indy. He's badly injured, and he got injured late in the season. What about Indianapolis?
I think Malik knows that he's going to be a starter, and he's going to be paid like one. I don't think Indianapolis would do that, especially after that huge 1-year guaranteed salary that Daniel Jones is going to get. Because if you're paying Malik Willis upwards of $20 million a year, you're paying him to be your starter.
Yeah.
Do
you think he's going to get that bag?
I think he'll be getting upwards of $20 million a year.
That's very, very interesting. I just I'm not that high on Malik Willis.
And I don't blame you for that. I mean,
I could see him going like somewhere like maybe to the Raiders and starting over Mendoza for a couple of games or something like that.
I think he knows. I think he knows the market. He's one of the highest free agent, not only quarterbacks but just options right now.
There's not a lot of free agent quarterbacks on the market.
Period. I mean, now Kyler's thrown into this, which I'll get into. But you're looking Tua, when he's inevitably cut.
They cut him.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they cut him last week.
And you're throwing in guys like Aaron Rodgers is still up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Kirk Cousins. Derek Carr is thinking about coming out of retirement.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Like,
I think that's I don't believe in that.
This is a horrible year for free agent quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a quarterback problem in this league, and I think Malik is going to take advantage of that. And I think Arizona is going to give him a 3-year, $80 million with a lot of guarantees.
Do you want them to give him a 3-year deal where you may have to he's so unproven?
That's the thing that scares me.
Are you gonna be happy with a 3-year deal over in Arizona with a guy that has proven nothing? He's not even like how many games did he start for Green Bay?
I think 3, and I think he started 7 in his career.
Oh man,
there's a lot to be seen with him.
This feels to me like Jimmy Garoppolo.
A little.
And maybe this is a guy that can sustain you for a short amount of time. And maybe I'll eat my words. And if I do, come at me. Come get me. But I just feel like this is a guy that will sustain you for a short amount of time, but it's not the answer to your problems. Mm-hmm. And I think that Arizona needs to invest in the draft.
I would say so as well.
They're not getting Fernando Mendoza.
They're not getting Mendoza. But I don't know if they're going to take Ty Simpson. I would guarantee they don't if they're signing Malik Willis. But, the Cardinals
Where are they picking at?
They're picking 3rd.
Okay.
And they're going to have pick 34 in the second round. Arizona needs to win this year. Their general manager is hanging on by a thread. I think he should have been fired along with Gannon because the 15-36 record is just not that good. And I don't want to harp on this for that much longer because
it's not acceptable.
It's not.
Yeah.
And, some of his draft choices have been questionable.
You're minus 500?
Yeah.
It's not acceptable.
After 3 years.
Yeah.
And so, he's sticking around. He knows he's on the hot seat. If he's going to sign a guy like Kirk Cousins and just say like, all right, just hold us over for next year. He doesn't have that privilege to be thinking of next year. I think he's going to be desperate, and I think this is the desperate move he's going to make.
I could see. You want to know what I think the biggest issue is with a desperate GM is that maybe he doesn't let the coach, and maybe the GM is making calls that the coach should be making. Mm-hmm. And that makes me nervous as well for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
If they start out slow or are not winning enough at the beginning of the season, I'm nervous that could hurt them late in the season.
It could, but that's even assuming that Monty would make it through the whole year.
Yeah,
because
maybe not. Right?
If they're starting off really bad, I think he'll be a mid-season fire. And then Mike LaFleur would have the range to do whatever he wanted for the remainder of the season.
I got my last one here. Yeah. So my last one on my list, I got Trey Hendrickson, which is a guy that we talked about.
Yeah.
Right.
Hot name.
That is a huge free agent. Probably the number 1 free agent on the market. Right. Big time edge rusher. He's obviously he had a great season when he was not injured. Right. This last year. The Bengals couldn't figure out paying him. They ended up putting him on a 1-year deal. It was a mess.
And now they're getting nothing for him.
Right. Yeah.
Which is a mistake.
Because they couldn't trade him,
so
right?
Stingy.
They should have moved him.
Yeah.
And so Trey Hendrickson, 23 total pressures on 177 snaps last season. Some trade destinations. He's 31, by the way. Some trade destinations for the 31-year-old edge rusher is the Colts, the Bears, and the Lions. So I think, again, we talked about this. I think the Lions are in a little bit of a rebuild where they need a big name player to kind of boost the confidence of the fan base there. For the Bears, they're trying to stay hot and keep it rolling.
Yep.
The defense is an area that they struggled, right? Their offense was putting up crazy points, and then they're losing games late because their offense is having to do everything. Their defense couldn't keep their offense off the field. And then the Colts,
I don't see him going to Indianapolis.
That's kind of a shot in the dark there. I think that they're really happy with what they have going. I don't think that they're going to invest a ton of money into a big time edge rusher when they have guys like DeForest Bunkner over there. And I think that they're young and they're on the come up. So
yeah, I think, you know,
and their defense had a really successful year, right? They were ranked. They have the 4th ranked defense in the league last year. Or at one point in the season?
At one point, I think they teetered off and they were more middle of the pack at the end of the season. But yeah, I think Trey. I mean, I don't know if he would go to Detroit either. I would assume he would like to go to Detroit and play alongside Aiden Hutchinson
and play for Dan Campbell.
Campbell.
Dan Campbell's an awesome player coach.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it really. I don't know what his market is going to look like right now in terms of like the money he's going to garner.
He's not going back to the Bengals.
Yeah, that's 100%. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I need, for how much we talk about him, I have no idea what he's going to do, where he's going to go. You know, how much money he's going to make. I mean, he's still productive, but he's what 31 now.
Yeah.
You know, how much money are they going to be willing to throw at him? All right. Last but not least, and this may take a minute because I have some emotions to process through this.
Let it all out, Miles. This is your time.
So if you guys don't know, I'm a Cardinals fan.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Why do you think like my eyes are so puffy and red and like?
I thought you just wore that Valley shirt because you.
Well, this is a Sun shirt, but yeah, like I'm an Arizona boy, unfortunately. Kyler Murray has been cut, and let me just go over his 7 seasons as a Cardinal. He has 74 games played. He has over 27,000 passing yards. He's got 154 passing touchdowns and 67 interceptions. It's not a bad ratio. He's got a 66.9% completion percentage.
Can you? I'm sorry. Again, in how many seasons did he have 67 interceptions?
In 7 seasons.
7 seasons.
154 passing touchdowns. 66.9% completion percentage. Over 3,000 rushing yards and 31 rushing touchdowns. So, here's what I'm going to say. It was time. He was never going to win here. He had 7 years of sample size to, prove himself, get better. He had opportunities. He had guys like Hopkins. They drafted Marvin. He had Trey McBride. Michael Wilson was like an undeveloped star until Jacoby Brissett came in. But here's where I'm going to push back on the whole Kyler Murray saga. He was drafted first overall to the most perennial losing and dysfunctional organization in all of pro sports. The coach they hire was Cliff Kingsbury, who failed upwards to the NFL. He had a losing record as a head coach at Texas Tech. This is their semblance of trying to get a Sean McVay. And they did have a little success together as a tandem. And I know that Cliff Kingsbury has had more success post leaving Arizona. He takes Jaden Daniels and the Commanders as the offensive coordinator to the NFC Championship, But he was never fit to be a head coach. I don't know if he'll ever be fit again, especially at that time. And then the cherry on top was Steve Keim, the general manager. He should have been fired after 2018 before Kyler even got there. 3-13 season. He had the scandal of he got a DUI. There was a burner phone involved when he was suspended to talk to the head coach at the time, Steve Wilkes, and one of the worst drafters I've ever seen in my life. He did not take an offensive lineman in the first round when Kyler Murray was there and he was employed. Not once. He took Kyler Murray, obviously, first time. He took 2 back-to-back linebackers. He took Isaiah Simmons, not even on the team anymore. Zaven Collins, still on the team, not productive in a first-round sense. And his last year, he traded pick, 23 for Hollywood Brown, and he played 2 seasons there. Kyler Murray was not put in a position to succeed with the support around him outside of like maybe the roster. And so would I be surprised if he went somewhere and succeeded? No. But it was clear it was never going to happen here. And it makes me sad, but the writing was on the wall. So that's my story. And
are you finished?
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. And
I just wanted to give you a round of applause for your soapbox.
I thought you were hovering because you were like, get it over with.
No. I wanted to applaud you for putting yourself out there, because I know that was a very emotional moment for you.
I've had a lot of emotion on this because he is not the sole blame of his tenure here. The Cardinals failed him just as much, if not more, than Kyler failed the Cardinals. And you would watch him play at least twice a year as a Niners fan. And I kind of want to hear your gauge on, and I know you're way more critical, and like your opinion on him is.
Here's the thing, Miles. I love to rip on you for him.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you probably feel that I'm so critical. But here's the thing about Kyler Murray. Other than his size, Kyler Murray is an athletic freak. He is a smart guy, but he's been injured a lot. And it's because the Cardinals have refused to build an offensive line around him, right? He spent the majority of his career running for his life. And, you know, when you do that, it puts you on the sideline, right? It puts you on the sideline. You're injured. And when you're telling me about the interceptions, I was trying to do some math in my head, and this isn't exactly correct, but somewhere around 50% of his games, he's throwing interceptions.
He's got essentially a 2-to-1 touchdown interception ratio.
Yeah, right. And that is not to be completely honest, that's not an acceptable ratio.
No, he would throw too many.
Long term. But when you get in the mode of never feeling like you're going to be protected, you start to get shell-shocked. And we talk about this all the time. We've talked about this like 7 times on this show about quarterbacks getting shell-shocked because they're not getting the protection that they need. They're not being schemed up correctly. And, you know, and the run game has also been shaky on and off over the years, right? They've had good running backs in there, but they're not staying healthy. And so I think you're right. I think he's been set up to fail. I liked Kyler Murray when he came out of college. I liked him in his very first season. I do love to give you a hard time about it. And I don't care who the next quarterback is. I'm going to give you a hard time about that one too. But I agree with you. I think he's been set up to fail. And yes, he's played some bad ball. There's been times where I'm like, Kyler Murray, what are you doing? And it's, you know, and it's gotten worse, right? It's later on in his career.
After he tore his ACL, he's been worse.
Right. And again, you know, I also think that the system has been worse, right? The Cardinals have progressively gotten worse throughout his career. They certainly haven't gotten better.
Right.
And so that's my take on it, and that's how I feel. I don't want to rip you too much more on that.
Well, and with that being said, I think Kyler is going to go to Minnesota because I think he grew up a Vikings fan. I think he knows that Kevin O'Connell is one of the few coaches who could maybe fix him and where he could be the starter and resurrect his career. Because I just don't see why they would choose J.J. McCarthy outside of the fact that they just drafted him a couple of years ago over a guy like Kyler. When Kevin O'Connell may be on the hot seat and needs to win now, he's not doing that with McCarthy.
Right.
So
I hear you.
And you can give your rebuttal, and I'm going to fix the live.
No, I think we're good. And I think the live is good too, dude. We're still rolling. Oh, our live's going to end in 5 minutes. Sorry, guys. Shout out to Miles for saving the live. All right. Well, we are actually running kind of short on time, so I'm hoping that we can rapid fire through these last couple segments.
Let's do it.
So our next segment we got here, start, bench, cut. I'm so sorry. I hit the wrong button. I'm like, yeah, let's speed this up. And then I'm over here messing around.
Let me take my time.
This is why we got to get all this stuff off the set, man.
Yeah.
We need somebody behind the camera to handle our business. All right, so start, bench, cut. Miles, go ahead.
All right, and this is personal edition.
Jared. Yes, start, bench, cut, personal edition.
Start, bench, cut, Patagonia, video games, and the 2-point perspective.
Oh, man, that's tough. All right, we're going to cut video games right away. I love gaming, mostly just because I get to chop it up with my boys on the mic, but, you know, it's such a time suck.
It is.
It's such a time suck, and you can get you're just wasting so much precious time.
How productive is it outside of like it just being an outlet for a long day? Or,
right, and that's great. But you know what, man, I feel like I call my friends less when I game. So you know, if I'm gaming less, I'm calling my friends more, and I think that is more personal, and I think that I develop better relationships with them. So first off, cutting that.
Yeah.
I apologize, Miles, but my lifeline is my job.
I figured.
I'm probably starting Patagonia, and you know, there may be time. Maybe we do come across a time where we have to bench the 2-point perspective. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what I pick.
The 2-point perspective could be like the Tom Brady behind the Drew Bledsoe this entire time.
Well, so here's the thing, Miles. My goal with the podcast is to get to a point where we are doing this full time. I'll quit my job. If we're making enough money to support ourselves off the podcast, I'll quit my job. Because the more time that we're able to invest into this, the better off it's going to be, right? If this becomes our full-time job, we could do some really, really cool stuff. Unfortunately, not in this economy, though. Not right now. So, Miles, for your start, bench, cut. All right. Call-in club. Your truck, and your ability to ever see the Cardinals win a Super Bowl.
I'm cutting my truck.
You're cutting your truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I already got my sister's Honda CRV. That's going to be my new car, so we're
change
selling
it to your sister's Honda CRV.
Call-in Club was the other one. I'll cut Call-in Club. I could get another job.
You'd rather have the CRV?
Yeah. See, like, this is why if it was, like, Call-in Club, video games, and then, what was the third one? Cardinals winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, your ability to ever see the Cardinals win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, like, I if it were like that, even if it were, okay, let me just answer this first. I'm cutting Call-in Club. I will bench the CRV, and I will start the ability to watch the Cardinals win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's a guarantee. I would take that too. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Even if I have to take the bus or ride my bike or do whatever. But if you had asked me like Call-in Club, video games, and the 2-point perspective, I would still cut Call-in Club. Yeah, because it's not as like that. My Call-in Club is not your Patagonia.
Video games and the 2-point perspective?
Well, I'd probably start it because this is like, it's more of a productive hobby for me, and I love gaming, and I have a lot of friends who don't live here that I talk to. You know, like what you were saying about not being able to call your friends, that's one of my main outlets to converse with them and hang out with them. So, you know, it would be like that for me. But by Call-in Club. I'm not being loyal to
you heard
my
it here
car.
first.
I'm not being loyal to my car or my job if I get to watch the Cardinals win the Super Bowl, because it would be like I just got married or had a baby. You know,
I hope that all three of those things happen for you someday, Miles.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
that's really sweet. Got a couple more here. We gotta do our game predictions, man.
Yeah. See, this one, it's just so catchy, man. Yeah. All right, man. Game predictions.
Yep. Went 4-1 last week, and you went 3-2.
I did go 3-2.
Let's fire these off one at a time. Magic at Timberwolves. I'm gonna go with the Magic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm taking the Wolves.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go Minnesota.
Yeah, we've been kind of similar these past few weeks. So Nets at Pistons. Pistons.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah.
Number 1 team in the NBA right now?
Yep.
Yeah, it's not even close.
76ers at Hawks. Who are you taking?
They're both kind of dumpster fires right now. But I think I have to take Philly.
For the sake of disagreement, I'm going to take Atlanta.
Do it, man.
They're at home. Clippers at Memphis.
Man, kind of two more. I don't want to say that the Clippers are a dumpster fire. I'm going to take the Clippers.
They've like kind of gathered themselves later in the season. I'm going to take them too.
Yeah.
The Jazz at the Bucks. Ooh.
I'm taking Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm taking Milwaukee too. Utah, man.
And then the toughest decision on our board. We got the dual threat bet. Golden State at OKC.
You know, man, if Curry was playing, maybe I would
I don't even
Hail Mary with that. I don't
even think I would with Curry, honestly. It's going to be SGA for me.
It's going to be the Thunder.
All right. Well, let's keep on thundering through to our new segment, Stat Line or DUI. All right, Stat Line or DUI. This is a new segment that we're testing out for you guys today.
Yeah.
And essentially what it is I think we had 3 each, right?
Yep.
We're going to give each other a number, and the other person has to guess whether it's the stat line or the blood alcohol level of the individual that got a DUI. So,
you want to start us off?
Yeah, man, I'll kick us off. 0.17.
I'm going to say that's a stat line for a batting average.
Wow, that's pretty good,
Really?
Miles. Yeah. Bill Burgeon's.
Okay.
Yep. It's one of the worst batting averages in MLB history.
Yeah.
0.17.
That's what I was banking off of,
170.
There's some crazy BACs out there.
Uh-huh. All right, what you got?
Number 1, 0.325.
0.325?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that would kill somebody. Well, yeah, I think
you could go higher.
I'm going to say that's a stat line.
It's a DUI.
No way that's a DUI.
You know who it was? Eddie Lacy.
Holy cow.
He got arrested with a 0.325
No way,
level.
a 0.325?
It's more than 4 times the legal limit.
Yeah, holy shit, right? Like, it's a 0.08 is a DUI.
Yeah.
That's nuts. All right, Miles. 0.00.
Did you buy a breathalyzer and take this test just for the second one? I'm going to say it's well, no, you wouldn't. 0.00?
0.00.
That's a stat line.
0.00.
You wouldn't get a DUI for that.
That was Tiger Woods' DUI.
0.00?
His blood alcohol level was 0.00. It was prescription drugs.
Oh,
man,
yeah, that's a good one, man.
He was high as hell.
That's a good, well, because I was going to say, maybe you were smoking weed or something. And, okay, I like that. Nice little curveball.
Yeah.
Number 2.
I got another one for you.
What?
Go ahead.
0.273.
0.273. That's got to be a stat line.
It's Derek Jeter's rookie batting average.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
I believe that. All right, Miles. My last one here. 2.16.
2.16?
2.16.
I sure hope that's not a DUI. I mean, that would kill somebody. It's a stat line.
2.16 is the grams of cocaine in Mike Tyson's pocket when he got pulled over for his DUI.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Wow. See, you included some different
I had a couple good curveballs there. You know what the biggest issue was?
Yeah.
I was really struggling to find the blood alcohol levels of people.
Yeah.
That Eddie Lacy one is good.
That's a crazy one, man.
0.35. Wow, man.
Yeah.
That's nuts. He was a big dude, too.
He was a big dude.
Holy shit.
All right. Last but not least, 0.158.
That's a DUI.
The stat line. Let me explain this one. Josh Allen threw 15 interceptions on 94 attempts early in the 2018 season. I believe that was his rookie year, which briefly put his interception rate around 0.158. He's throwing a interception basically 16% of his throws.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice job, Miles. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the 2 Point Perspective. We really appreciate your viewership. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Check out the lives. We'll also be posting some more content. Miles, you got some more content for this week that we'll be putting out. And we will. And remember, never trust a team that says next year. We'll see you next week.